it's Ilani, and today I will be finally telling you guys my side of the story. This has been really hard, like this situation, because of all the hate and everything, so yeah. So everyone is assuming reasons why I don't want to do YouTube with them anymore, but I'm going to tell you guys the real reason why. So the first reason is because I felt like I was being forced to do YouTube, and it just wasn't fun anymore. For an example, when I wanted to go to a friend's house, I would have to do like 7 videos in one day, which is like, it's like a lot. And then sometimes when we were thirsty or hungry, like Amanda would just tell us stuff like, drink your spit because you didn't do enough videos, and that was like, it's pretty bad. While I was at school, she took my, like everything, even stuff that she didn't buy, she just took it away, everything that I actually used, and just took it to her house. And while I was at school, when I came home, I didn't see. The week that I quit YouTube, I was supposed to get a XR and an Apple Watch, but I didn't get it because I quit YouTube with them. And then they got Olivia and Nerea the XR, which they made them give to other people. They had to give the phones, their phones that they bought for them, to other people. So what was the point? The point was to make me jealous. That's all they really. She said, see, if you would have stayed with us and did videos, then you would have got this too. And I'm just looking there like, I don't really care. And when I quit YouTube, by Christmas time, I wasn't even allowed to, like on Christmas when I went to their house, because I wasn't even allowed to go up to my room. I wasn't allowed to go upstairs at all. I had to use the downstairs bathroom. I had to stay downstairs. And she tried to make me feel like I had nothing if I wasn't doing YouTube with them. Like she wanted me to regret leaving. The best Christmas present was that I didn't have to be with them. I just feel like I'm a kid and I should have choices, not like big choices, but choices at least. I don't think they should control my whole life. And that's why my mom came and she stepped up for me, because like, I guess we all had like enough of it. Guys, would you not want your mom to like step in and save you if you were getting used, blackmailed, doing something that you didn't want to do, and then just felt like you got everything taken away from you? And I did all these videos, but I didn't have a savings account. I wasn't making any money. All the money went to them. We would get stuff, but like not like shoes, clothes, but I wouldn't get to choose what I want to get for all the videos that I did. I just want to let you guys know, I always lived with my mom. 5th grade year, I was with my mom more than I was with them. Like, I was there for 5 weeks, and then maybe this summer they wanted me to be at their house more. All the stuff that they bought was usually, it just stayed at their house. Like even iPads, clothes, shoes, it all stayed at their house. And usually for the videos, they wouldn't let us take anything home to actually wear unless it was like raggedy. And even after Christmas, they still put me in the thumbnails, the titles, the videos. Even after I said I didn't want to do YouTube with them, they still were making money off of me. And they weren't speaking to me at that time, which was also really weird, but I was still in the thumbnails. And my mom she didn't even want money from this. She wanted a YouTube channel so that she could make money for a college account for us. That's all that she ever wanted. She didn't want money to like get clothes for herself, to get new perfume. It was just to make a college. What mom? Ask your mom right now. Who wouldn't want that? And by the way, I never said I didn't want to do YouTube permanently. I said I didn't want to do just YouTube with them because they just made everything boring. They made it so stressful. They kept forcing me and like blackmailing me. It's fun when I do YouTube with Samantha, because like I get to go places that are actually fun. I don't get blackmailed, I don't get forced, I don't get screamed at for no reason. Okay. She literally told my mom, try YouTube if you think that you could do it. That's why we tried it. And I guess she also got mad when me and Yaya planned to like hang out, because I think she thought that they were helping me with YouTube. I actually really don't know why she was mad, but some reason she was just mad. But all I wanted to do was just hang out at that time with my best friend, and yes, that just upset her. And she also told people to unfollow my Instagram, but she knew it was real. She just like literally, she knew about it at that time, but she just didn't want people to follow it, so she said it was a fake page. It's like she didn't want me to get big if it wasn't with her. And that same day, she texted my mom. She is going to expose her for the snake she is that's on her son. Yeah, just because I went to go hang out with Yaya. This is where my mom's part of the story is, and if I'm not making what I'm saying clear, maybe she will. Yeah.
So everyone who doesn't know, I'm Ilani's mom, Sherry, and I just want to step back a little bit. I want you to know that Harry and Amanda have been like my kids for 10 years. We've been together. I have thought of them as a son and a daughter for all of this time. I've treated them equally to my own kids. So this has been, for Ilani and I, an experience like none of you can imagine. Very, very, very painful. But it is what it is, and we really, really tried not to put this out there because we didn't want to make the situation any more negative than it already is. But for Ilani, it's been really hard not to have her story put out there. So just to bring everything up to speed, in October, November, Ilani started to get sick of YouTube. You have to put yourself in the shoes of a 10-year-old, 11-year-old. All of a sudden, that you become a YouTube star overnight, and no matter where you go, you're getting a ton of attention. In school, you're getting attention. It's a lot. It was a lot to process. So one, she needed a little break. Two, Amanda's personality can be a little bit bullying and a little bit pushy. So Ilani and she were butting heads a lot, and she just really said, you know what, I want to take a break from YouTube. Amanda did not take this well at all, and it just wasn't very nice. And at one point, Amanda's exact words were, you know what, I'm done with Ilani. And it was really hurtful because at this point, everyone knows Amanda and Ilani are not blood sisters because they let that out there. But Ilani's been their sister since she was a baby. And that was really, really hurtful to be disowned over YouTube. And that pretty much came up to Christmas time. Christmas time, they didn't get any presents for Ilani, but when we were there, they did hand her $200, but material items aren't important. But the point that did matter is when Ilani went to go upstairs to use the bathroom at their house, they said, no, you're not even allowed upstairs. That's the point that Ilani was trying to make. And that's basically saying, you don't do what we want you to do, so you're not part of our family like that anymore. That's the message they were giving. And there was a lot of other things that led up to this. It wasn't just one. There was big arguments, there was threatened to expose this, threatened to expose that, all kind of blackmail going on, and it just was getting to be an ugly situation. But we were trying to keep everything cool because you know what, we're a family and families go through things. And hopefully they don't go through things on social media. But this is where we are. So the thumbnail for Christmas was Ilani got no presents, and that was sort of irritating to me. And at this point, separately from what Ilani's going through, me as a mother, and remember, I love Amanda, so I'm very proud of her. I'm seeing her having succeeded, I'm seeing the girls getting success, but at the same time, I'm looking, and let me just take a step back. I did suggest to Amanda and Jimmy that they get the house in Miami. There was a reason for that. I said, why don't you get a house in Miami? Because one, the girls will be closer. It would be 20 to 30 minutes as opposed to an hour and a half, which means it was a lot less driving every single week. Which means if the girls had a friend's party to go to or something that they wanted to do, they could still do that without interfering with the video schedule. So I was really looking out for both the girls' happiness and also for Amanda and Jimmy's video schedule. So the other part was Amanda was about to have a baby. She was pregnant, and I said, you know what, you're gonna have a baby, so if you're closer, your family is gonna be there to help you. Which to me makes a whole lot of sense because it's your first baby, you don't know what you're doing yet, you need family around. Everybody needs family around. So for me, that was coming from that spot. I never suggested that they get a huge house. That was Amanda's choice. My point that I was making was get a house closer to home so that we would all be closer, which was very practical. So just to clear that up, that was not ill-intended. And when I put the girls into extracurricular activities, the reason that I did that was because Amanda and Jimmy had moved there right around Thanksgiving. And in a month, they had picked up the girls one time. So I'm working a lot. And by the way, I'm not a homeless person or unemployed. I'm a real estate broker with my own business, and I'm a professional that's been taking care of myself and my family for a whole lot of years. But I was working a lot. I didn't want the girls sitting on electronics. So I put them into an after-school program where they would learn capoeira and dance, and they were having fun. That was not to interfere with anyone's video schedule. They were not picking... Yeah, it was on weekdays, and they weren't picking up the girls.
We had school.
Yeah, it was after school to keep them busy. So there was no ill intention in that. There was no deceit, no spite, and I don't know how. It was money out of my pocket being spent. It wasn't something to take money from them. Anyway, so let's step forward now to after Christmas. So Amanda basically said, you know what, you try YouTube with Ailani. You can go ahead and try it. And basically telling me that she's not going to give me a channel because I had asked for either They Love Ailani or Pierre Sisters, because I said, you know what, I don't want to take money out of your pockets because I know that you're getting used to a certain standard of living. But we had an agreement at the very beginning of this, and I never pushed for it, where the girls would get a certain amount, a certain percent. And they never had that, and I never pushed for it. But it was getting to be the time when, hey, there should be an account for the girls, not just Gucci's and Balenciagos that sit in a closet, but there should be something being saved. So I said, hey, why don't you give me a channel, and then I'll find a way to make it work, that they can be skits, someone help produce it. I'll even give you money off of it. And at the end of the day, they'll have an account, and it didn't take anything from your pockets. And Amanda said she needed to talk to Jimmy. There was a whole bunch of like delay in it. And at the same time, Amanda stopped speaking to me for 10 days. And I can tell you that was 10 days before the Super Bowl. And that was also the day that she saw, like right around the same time when she saw a picture of Samantha with a vlogging camera. And that seemed to really bother her because Amanda had this idea that nobody else should make any clout or money or fame off of the work that she put into the girls. So basically in her mind, Samantha being with Ailani was me giving Samantha an opportunity off of the work that Amanda did. I don't see it that way. I see that we all help each other, because the more you help one another, the more everybody comes up. I don't see life in that way. We just see things differently. Yeah, it's not a competition. It's not a one man rises. It's everybody rises. So she quit speaking to me. Simultaneously, Yaya and Ailani made a plan together, which she kept saying to me.
DJ's birthday.
It was originally for DJ's birthday, and then they changed the date. And I kept asking the girls, are Amanda and Jimmy taking you to DJ's birthday? Because I already knew it was going to be a little bit awkward. So they kept saying, I don't know, I don't know. And didn't I ask that like 100 times? I asked them, Olivia and Nerea. And then they ended up changing the date. And probably like 2 days before I realized it wasn't DJ's birthday, I said, no problem. I dropped off Ailani. I walked her to Melinda's door. I said, thank you. And that was that. I get a text from Amanda that was a little bit rude, like, why didn't you tell me that Ailani was going to Yaya's? My response was basically, you're not speaking to me, how can I tell you that? And why is it even important? Really, I didn't understand. So here we are at Ailani's at Melinda's house and Yaya's house. And I go to pick her up on Sunday, and it's Super Bowl Sunday, and I sit down and I'm speaking with Melinda, and I'm speaking with Ivani. And I guess there's a picture on Instagram. And the next morning, Amanda tells everybody to unfollow Ailani's Instagram and texts me, I'm going to expose you for the snake that you are, and I swear it on my son. And I said, wow, what just happened? And from that day, we've not really spoken except one conversation, which was very heated, which her father put us on a speakerphone. But they came 2 weeks later, was DJ's, I think 2 weeks, 3 weeks later was DJ's party, and Ailani was there, and Amanda, Jimmy, Harry, they all came to DJ's party, and they didn't speak to Ailani. They didn't say anything to her. And the other thing that really upset me is Jimmy was at the house picking up the girls, because the girls were going to their house all the way up until Harry's video was out, by the way, guys. I've never kept the girls from them until Harry's video, because our family is in a mess right now. But when Jimmy was at the house, Ailani went to get something from outside, and she ran back in, and she said to Jimmy and I, oh my gosh, Amanda's outside in the car. And we both said to her, so what? That's your sister. Go outside and say hi. So Ailani went to the car to say hi, and what did Amanda say?
She said, why are you saying hi to me?
She said, why are you saying hi to me? And Alani answered to her something like, I don't want to get in trouble. And Amanda said, there's a lot of things you need to get in trouble for. And Alani came in sad. And then Jimmy left with the girls, and I didn't even know that. And I thought that was so unsisterly and so rude. And it really hurt Alani. And if you all understood how hard before Harry's videos, before Amanda's videos, how hard this has been on Alani, just being basically disowned by your family because of YouTube. And then fast forward to Harry's videos. We were completely blindsided. And Harry's videos, let me tell you what the situation was. One day, Harry's still living in an efficiency, right? Attached to the house that we lived in. And I made a comment and he made a comment, and we hadn't spoken about anything, but we had been friendly. He'd still be asking for favors, this, that, and the other, and cash apps, whatever. Everything was fine. And next thing you know, we're in like this heated debate. I said rehashing. The word was rehashing. When I spoke to Jimmy, I said Harry and I were rehashing, not harassing. But anyway, that's regardless. So anyway, we got into an argument. In front of everyone, Harry was yelling at me and he said, Sherry, it's just the way you move. You shouldn't have been talking to those people, which was Ivani and Melinda. And I said, and you know what? Maybe I shouldn't have put myself in that situation. And if that was the case, I apologized already for that. And I said, but since I moved that way, Harry, I said, you know what, just take this as a 30-day notice, because it was uncomfortable. Then I caught myself and I sent him a text and I said, I really take that back, but I'm letting you know that we're moving. And I still have this text. I said, but you are welcome to stay. And I explained details in this text where he was welcome to stay. Later on in the day, I pulled up. Harry came rushing at the car at me, yelling about, why did I tell Jimmy that he was harassing me? And I'm like, Harry, I said rehashing, not harassing. And he was screaming in front of Olivia, Nerea, and Alani. He's screaming at me. Alani was sitting right there.
I was walking into the house.
I never raised my voice. I drove all the way to where Harry's dad works. And Harry was on the phone then with Jimmy on the phone. Jimmy told him that I said harassing, not rehash. I said rehashing, not harassing. And Harry was still screaming. And his dad had to tell him, slow your roll. That was round 2. Later in the night, Harry came in because I clean the girls' room all the time. But Harry came in that night to FaceTime Amanda and show how messy the room was. I knew that I was moving, and when I cleaned the room, that it was gonna be, it was gonna be like a gut and pack.
Putting it into boxes.
And I had the flu, and I had, it was just one of those times I knew I was moving. And I said something like, why does Harry have a key to my house when he can disrespect me like that? And he can come in and be FaceTiming what my house looks like. Because both Ilani and Olivia had told me, and Janelle had told me that he was talking about the mess of the room, which one thing that anyone can tell you is I clean all the time.
She cleans every single night.
I clean a lot.
More than
it's annoying to the kids. So anyway, it bothered me a lot. And then Harry started screaming at his father, and he started screaming profanities, loud. Screaming at me, screaming at his dad, saying some awful things about me. And his dad said to him, I don't disrespect your woman, so you're not going to talk to my woman like that or about my woman like that. He said,
he was screaming at me, Janelle,
yeah, screaming at,
like in our face.
Screaming. And he said to Ray, who was his dad, he said, your woman is X'd. And Ray said, you know what? Screaming. Ray said, you know what, Harry, you can leave. After that, Harry lived for 30 days more. He didn't pay anything. Nobody pushed it. Nobody told him to leave. Harry moved out. Then next thing you know, we see this video, and he's even talking about his dad picked a chick over him and all kinds of things like that. And I'm not a chick. I've been with his dad for 10 years and have kids with him, and Harry's been and all of these years, I've been very, very helpful in their life as well. And I would have liked to have thought that they thought of me the same way that I've thought of them, because to this day, I love them very much. If it were anything integral in life, I'm sure I would still be there for them, even though they put us through this. But after Harry's video, part 1, his dad told him to delete the video. Harry did not delete it. He came out with part 2. After part 2, he waited a couple days and came out with another video. Sorry, Ailani, my dad told me to delete it. He still didn't delete the videos. To this day, the videos are up. If you all know the cyberbullying that Ailani went through, what kids put Ailani through, Ailani went through a depression. Ailani was in her room. Ailani doesn't cry. She's not a person who talks a lot, but she was so sad, like in a very dark, dark place, because no adult, me, as a middle-aged woman, I can tell you this was one of the hardest times of my entire life, and I can only imagine what this little girl went through. And that was unfair. And then when Amanda came back with her video, it's very one-sided. And I'm sorry she feels sad like she does, but it's extremely one-sided, and she doesn't see the totality of the situation.
She didn't even mention anything about herself, not one thing. Like, all we did was talk.
It's all about how she was hurt, but she doesn't talk about the shade that she throws on people, the way that she manipulates situations, the way that she hurts people. All she talks about is she stays in her lane. But I would ask Amanda one thing. Yeah, if I were right now to ask Amanda something to her face, I would ask her, if you look around you and you've fallen out with almost everybody in your life, and the people that you're falling out with don't have fallings out with anybody, maybe you need to look at, possibly it's something about your ways and your nature. And a child is a child. You stay out of, you let her grow with her issues and let her work through them. You don't throw things out there like that. Harry and Amanda were completely wrong, because every child has their imperfections. Every adult has their imperfections. Every family has their issues, but it's not meant for social media. There are certain things that are meant for social media. It's entertainment. It's a place to voice opinions, but not put out people's family issues. And it was very wrong, and my child, my daughter, should never have gone through this. One thing I also really took offense to, I've been being called a gold digger, I've been being called money hungry, I've been being called an evil witch. I have not received $1 from their YouTube channel. Jimmy and Amanda, I received a couple of things. I'm gonna tell you what I received, which I was very thankful for. I received a Mother's Day purse. I received a purse on Christmas, a Louis Vuitton, which was very nice because I wouldn't have bought that for myself. But the point is that I don't think I could be called money hungry or I could be called a gold digger, because I never asked for anything. And I really took offense to that, because two things that I pride myself on in life is my mothering. I have 5 children, not 3 by the way, and I've always considered myself to have raised kids as well, which include Amanda and Harry and Ray Ray, and I don't see Monique as much because she stays with her mom, but I've always considered them my kids, and anything that I've been able to do for them, I've always done for them as well. So that's been number 1. And number 2 is my character, and I try to be a good person and a nice person. So to see people come after, 1, my mothering, and 2, my character, it's been really painful, because I feel like I've given a whole lot more than I've ever asked for, and I really think that that's a bad label to put on me. And I think that that's been really hurtful for Imani, because I know for me as a child, when people have come after my mother for anything, the littlest comment, it bothered me. And to have thousands of people coming after her mother, it's just annoying. And I think that you all need to know who I am, and that's not the person that I am.
Can I mention something? If I'm smiling, it's just because when people say my name,
just to reiterate as well, when I asked for the channel from Amanda, it was to give the girls a foundation, because I felt like, 1, they should have a savings, because one day they're going to get older and they're going to look at all the work that they did, all of the money that was made, and they're going to say, Mom, why didn't you make sure that we had something set for our future? Because I'm watching Amanda driving what they drive and living in the house that they live in, and I'm happy for them. But at the same time, these girls help them make that also, and they deserve a nest egg as well. I'm not saying that Amanda and Jimmy, that they don't have a huge amount of effort, time, and skill put into their success, but they've also put into Amanda and Jimmy's success. So with that said, it's a mutual success, and because it's a mutual success, they needed something as well. So instead of asking for money from them, I asked for a channel in order to make the money from the channel to then give to the kids. That was the mother.
And she would give them, and she would like,
and I was going to give them 20%, so that, because it was them, they branded it, and I recognized that. So to be branded as greedy because I asked for this channel is strange, because to me, the 1.5 years that I asked for nothing was more than generous. So.
And I also think that like one of the worst things is when you can lie on someone while knowing that you're lying, and just like tell the world that like stuff that's just untrue.
I probably could line up 6 or 7 people of my age bracket that have been around since the early days with Amanda and Harry and all of the kids that would sit there and tell you how genuinely and lovingly that I have cared for them like my own children. And the hurt that they would turn around and they would come at me and at my child like this. And the crazy thing is, once you come on social media, you make the barrier so big now that this is almost not fixable. It's not repairable.
You can't tell something different. You can't take it down now.
You can't take it off of social media. You can't say sorry. And what happens to Olivia and Nerea now? Because look, they get hurt as well because they love everyone and they're not even old enough to understand what happened. And no, I'm not keeping them, but it's a situation where these videos are still up. We're still under cyber attack. Is the way I see it. While those videos are up, we're still under attack.
If you read my comments, then like...
You can't be after Ailani and not be after all of us. We're a family. She's a child and she's their sister. It doesn't work like that.
When you're under 13, you're still a child. I don't feel like I did anything wrong because I think that what I did, I stuck up for myself, which is kind of scary.
I was actually proud of her. But what she said to Amanda, she said, if you're going to disown me because I won't do YouTube, basically, then we're not sisters. Because basically saying, if I'm really your sister, that's not how you're going to treat me. And you're not treating Olivia and Nerea that way. So it took a lot of courage for Ailani to stand up. And Amanda's reaction was, hey, let me go take everything out of the room that I could think of that I bought, or maybe just other stuff as well, and block Ailani from anything that she had. That means that Ailani never earned anything. Ailani just worked for them, and they took everything back. Their love, their care, their concern, and their thanks. Because it would never belong to Ailani, and that's not right. That's a very big disrespect, and it's unacceptable. My first priority is my children, and all the hate that comes at me for that, I don't care about that, because my first job is to protect her. My first job is to protect my other 4 children. My second job is to make sure that they're okay. So at the end of the day, all of that cyber hate that I got, it's misunderstood, it's misdirected, and it's because of the lies that you were all fed. And I understand that, because if I were a stranger watching the videos that you all watched, maybe I would have felt the same way too. But just one thing, don't cyberbully children. No matter how you feel, there's never an excuse for cyberbullying, because you don't know the effect that you have. Early on, they used to do this thing with Ailani, like, we're gonna get you this if you do this. And if you don't do this, we're not gonna give you this. And everything was like dangling a carrot. Basically like putting the toy in front of the dog and the dog runs after it. And it's not a good way to instill any kind of confidence in a person or any kind of joy in what the person's doing. And I never appreciated that, and I never liked that in the first place. And I never liked the blackmail mentality. And as the time went on, that got to be all it was. It was like, you do this, you get this. You do this, you get this. But there was no more, it started out fun, but the genuine part of it, it wasn't there anymore. And also, it started out as like a grassroots movement. It was my mother staying in her room while the house was being used for videos, while, you know, Ray would come from work and everybody was putting their hands together. It was still Amanda and Jimmy's creative talent and their editing. I'm not going to take that from them. But it was a grassroots thing. But as it got bigger and bigger, those times were forgotten and everything became more about the money, like competition and money and who's bigger and who's bigger.
To be honest, like when it first started, it was like fun. Even if I wasn't in the videos, like I would like be behind the scenes and just like laughing or something. But like once they moved to like the first house that they got, that's when it started to be just like all the competition, all just like the blackmailing.
She lives in a silent competition. She thinks the world is a competitive place and it's always about being on top, but it's not. The world is about working together and everybody reaching higher places. And as long as you think that you have to be the only one on top, it's a lonely place, because if you climb to the top of the mountain by yourself and you look at the view, you're gonna think it's beautiful, but if you share it with someone else, it's a lot more beautiful. I think what happened is, without the girls, because they're so convinced that they made the girls famous, that they don't need the girls, but what's happened now is they realize without the girls, their views are going down. So they basically utilized Harry's channel to put out their version of what happened, which was very one-sided and borderline very untrue. And they use that, and then they keep using Ailani's name in order to gain more views, because without Ailani, without Olivia and Nerea, their views are going down. And something else that I want to address as well, Ailani and I were not invited to the baby shower. Everybody else in the family was fitted with the attire.
Not at all. We weren't.
And not only Ailani and I, Amari and Ariel were not fitted either. Distant cousins were fitted. Relatives who are never seen were fitted. My children were not fitted, except for Olivia and Nerea. So this was sort of very painful. I was, I think, the second person to know that Amanda was pregnant, and I wasn't invited to the gender reveal. I was a large part of it. And to not be even invited to the baby shower, it was, and just like Amanda said in her video, you don't go where you're not invited. So we stayed home. I cried that day. It hurt very, very bad. Ailani can tell you, I cried. I cried a lot. It was sad, but it was okay. But then Jimmy had a surprise party for Amanda. He picked up the girls. I went, I got them clothes. I'm like, are they okay for whatever video you're doing? He's like, yeah, we're just going to the house. The girls came back and they were like, oh, that was so fun. Jimmy just had the best surprise for Amanda. It was a party. All of her family is there. And I'm looking at Ailani and she's looking at me and we're like, wow, Jimmy had a party for Amanda. All of her family was there. Everybody was invited, including her dad, Olivia, Nerea. The only people not invited again were Amari, Ariel, and of course Ailani and me. So to hear Amanda talk about she wasn't invited to Olivia's birthday party, let's fast forward. This is after Harry's videos. This is after major cyberbullying. This is after Amanda and I haven't spoken in months. This was a last minute party in our backyard by the pool with like 6 adults and like 10 kids. And it would have been very, very awkward for Amanda to come. Even Ray was only there. Their dad was only there for maybe an hour. And it would have been incredibly awkward for Amanda to be there, because who would she have spoken to? Because at this point, there's a lot of friction. And Jimmy showed up, and Jimmy and I still speak. We're on decent terms. And I just said to him, and this was from you know, not even me. It was from, you know, their dad as well. We don't want any videoing. We don't want any posting. We don't want any YouTubing. No, you know, Instagram, nothing. It wasn't that type of party. It was really just a last minute party, the kids having fun. And Jimmy got a little bit offended, but it wasn't meant in an offensive way. It just was meant that we just really didn't want it posted. So for Amanda to be so hurt that she wasn't invited to Olivia's birthday, it just didn't really didn't make much sense at all. I didn't understand it.
Because how do you not invite someone somewhere but then expect to be invited?
And it wasn't even...
It wasn't about that. It's just like, why would we invite you? Because at that point, no one was really... Everyone at that party was not ready.
It was just a couple of friends together is what the party was. It would have been incredibly awkward for Amanda. I personally, if I were her, I wouldn't have wanted to be there, because it would have been a lot of people looking at her and wondering why she was there. We really, really, really didn't want to put out a video. We didn't want to respond. When people were asking Ailani, you know, what happened, this was prior to Harry's video, I would tell her, just ignore it or say Amanda's your sister, you love her, and family is family. We really did not want to go into anything negative. We don't want a comeback. We don't want a response. We don't want a back and forth. We just want this to end. And after Harry's videos, the comments were terrible. They started to end. Then Amanda's video came. They started to end a little bit again. But honestly,
but now they just came back.
They came back again.
We got tired of it.
We're tired. And Ailani especially needs to put out her story, because her spirit cannot settle until she says, this is what the real story is. Because there's nothing worse than not even your own family thinking you did something that you didn't do, but think the whole fan base thinking that you did something that you didn't do. It's very uncomfortable, and she's been in a bad space. So this is basically her vindicating her character and letting you all know that this is the true story. This is what happened. No more cyberbullying, guys. No child deserves it. No cyberbullying anyone, for that matter.
Same thing as bullying.
Yeah, no bullying. Hopefully this is the beginning of more positive things, and look forward for more to come from Ailani, because she's going to come out of her shell.